First tonight, Oregon's fire season has turned deadly. Wasco County deputies say a massive 36,000-acre fire burning southeast of the Dalles killed a man who was trying to fight the fire on a tractor.
The wind has been blowing consistently all afternoon. If anything, it's picked up here, and it's really made the fire take off. In fact, we've moved about 1.5 miles to the north. I just wasn't comfortable with where we were and what the fire was doing.
He's volunteering on the front lines and came off them for a moment to describe the effort to fight the fire in the wind.
I wish it would calm down. The wind just pushes the fire that much harder. If it was calmer, it would just burn up to the disc lines where we've turned up the dirt and could just stop. But even this morning already, I've seen the fire push the wind push the fire across a disc line.
We saw the disc line work yesterday and again today from Sky 8. It creates a path 33 feet wide, not always enough to stop these flames.
Coming up on a giant plume like this, with flames dancing behind a barbed wire fence, feels surreal. Last night brought the first big report of damage. Sky 8 found a home and outbuildings burned. But given the size of this fire and the power of these winds, crews admitted today they don't have time to keep a current tally. We had been seeing reports through social media and through the local paper that other homes, other structures had burned. So to be honest, we just picked an address and came to it, and we found this. This home is completely gone.
I saw 2 of the girls' bodies fly, heard the impact, and then saw the car speed off and get back onto 6.
I was at Starbucks. If I would have taken a full step out, he would have hit me.
I'm 100% sure this was intentional. Attack, basically, with the way he was driving. I have no doubt in my mind it was intentional.
We have KGW team coverage beginning with Kyle Eboshi live on campus. Kyle, take us through what happened today.
Well, Tracy, first an update. We anticipate them reopening this area quite soon. In fact, they're starting to remove some of the crime tape behind us. And this is just happening in the past few moments now. Investigators say witnesses and the community really played a critical role in finding the vehicle involved after putting out an all-points bulletin. From Sky 8, you can see a swarm of police officers take one man into custody after a citywide search for a blue SUV. Witnesses say the driver took off after hitting 3 people on a sidewalk on Southwest 6th Avenue at Harrison, right in the heart of the Portland State University campus.
I just saw a fast car, and I was thinking to myself, that car is going way too fast for being on this road.
After seeing the movie American Sniper,
I just wanted a hat like Bradley Cooper wore, Chris Kyle had in American Sniper.
House to house is the deadliest job here, man.
I was looking for that 3 Charlie hat and did a Google search, and website was one of the ones that popped up. Well, it was one of the only ones that popped up.
There on a website called fallenherobracelets.com, Chad Chambers found what he was looking for.
Yeah, I found the hat. Definitely, there was even a few different colors that were available.
The website displays dozens of military decals and memorial bracelets that honor our fallen heroes. According to the site, the nonprofit company has over 1 million sales worldwide. So Chad put in his order for the hat along with a military-style bracelet.
Shipping and everything, month and a half before Christmas, $69. So
then the Vancouver man waited, and waited, and waited.
Tried to call and left a message. Didn't get a return call.
6 months later,
haven't gotten anything but verbal abuse via email.
This company is definitely on our radar. We've received a pattern of complaints over the last year or so.
Fallen Hero Bracelets has an F rating with the Better Business Bureau, and public records show the Washington Attorney General's office has received reports from consumers around the country who complain they never got the items they ordered from the Tacoma-based company.
It caused me a lot of stress at the time.
Many customers said the company responded to complaints with vulgar email suggesting they'd done something wrong. There are 2 examples submitted to the AG's office where a customer said the company sent notes telling him to go F yourself, and another declaring you're an a-hole.
Even right off the bat, it was somewhat abrasive.
And when customers disputed the charges with their credit card company or PayPal,
he said, "Oh, you're committing bank fraud."
Several customers said Fallen Hero Bracelets sent them to collections and even threatened legal action.
A few weeks later, I received this big packet in the mail from Fallen Hero Bracelets saying that I had committed bank fraud and that they were going to sue me and, they were going to ruin my credit.
A review of court records shows since September, Fallen Hero Bracelets has filed 10 different complaints in small claims court in Pierce County, Washington. The company declined to do an interview for this story, but in an email, the company's chief legal officer, Michael Friedman, said its delivery time is within industry standards and customers should have been more patient. He downplayed consumer complaints, writing, "After over 900,000 transactions in 15 years, 20 to 30 issues are an expected byproduct of doing business over the internet."
It goes beyond poor customer service.
Many customers said they were inclined to buy the memorial bracelets and hats because they wanted to support veterans.
When I saw their website, I knew that it appeared to be for a good cause.
FallenHeroBracelets.com prominently displays the names and logos of various veterans organizations, including the Chris Kyle Memorial Benefit. But when contacted by KGW, Chris Kyle's father said the Memorial Benefit has absolutely no association with Fallen Hero Bracelets, and they don't have permission to use the logo.
We're following up on a Tacoma-based nonprofit that claims it helps fallen heroes by selling bracelets. But our reporting across the region raised some serious questions about fallen hero bracelets. Now today, the Washington Attorney General took action and forced the company to shut down. KGW investigative reporter Kylie Bosch is in our newsroom. Kylie, you were the first reporter to expose this company.
Laurel, not only does this court order force Fallen Hero Bracelets to shut down, but it demands the company stop abusing and deceiving customers. This is Kyle. We asked you to call me. This is Kyle. This is Kyle. This is Kyle. To help solve the worst scams.
I think it's a scam.
Is this a scam? Is this a scam? And it's working big time.
That's when I called you.
I got my money back, thanks to you.
Together, we're busting scams wide open. And we won't stop until we expose all the ripoffs. The crooks are busted. Accept responsibility for your actions. And your money's safe. This is Kyle.
Call Kyle. Exclusive investigation only on KGW.
I love watching sports. It's something I've always loved to do.
Aspiring sportscaster Casey Graver loves calling the games.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
But deep down, he'd still rather be on the field than in the booth.
If I was able to go out and compete with the varsity guys and be able to compete at a high level, yeah.
Casey always planned on playing in high school. He started in 3rd grade. His brother played. Dad Brad coached them. But then came 2 concussions in middle school. His doctor said a third meant he couldn't play any sports.
At that point, I was, football's done.
Casey is one of the thousands of kids in Oregon no longer playing football. According to numbers we obtained from the Oregon School Activities Association, 23% fewer kids are playing high school football in the 2018-2019 school year compared to 10 years ago.
We're in a tailspin, and I'm not sure, and I've said this before, too, I'm not sure we can stop it here.
Steve Corey has coached at Lake Oswego High School for the last 27 seasons.
Whistle! Time it up.
He said starting with the movie Concussion, increased awareness of CTE, and worries about brain injuries have all led parents keeping their kids from football.
About 5 or 6 years ago, we were at about 310 kids in our youth, again, 3rd through 8th grade, and that number's down to 75 today.
He says the feeder system from youth to high school football is disappearing.
You got to have 25 kids to really have a freshman team. 2 years ago, we had 14 kids. So we didn't have a freshman team, so we moved those kids up. So we've already done it, we've already adjusted, we've already felt it.
If the youth numbers stay as they are, could that be the end of football?
75 is not enough. This program will not survive with the youth numbers that we have now.
I've been studying concussions for over 20 years.
Dr. Jim Chestnut is the sports medicine director of the Oregon Health and Science University Concussion Program.
The side of the street that we're on has counter-protesters. They are here to counter-protest the Patriot Prayer Rally that is going on across the way at Salmon Street Springs. You can see Portland police have set up a barrier. They have gone over the intercom, the loudspeaker, to say that people cannot cross NATO. What is your response to people who say that, hey, bringing guns might incite violence? And
we always have guns.
Southern Poverty Law Center has categorized the Proud Boys as a hate group.
Southern Poverty Law Center is probably one of the worst sources you can ever go. That's why they're getting sued by many organizations. If you're pro-life, you're a hate group. If you're against gay marriage, you're a hate group.
Oh, okay. So police trying to dispel that crowd, obviously.
You know, these people from out of town, like, why don't they do these protests in their own towns? And if they want to say something and have something like that's of value to say, then do it where they're at. Why do they have to come here where we live? And then that incites all these other riots, and the police have to come out here.
On February 14th,
all units be advised of male in a hoodie.
Nicholas Cruz walked into Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School.
Possible AR-15 or AK-47.
Just before class let out for the day.
Hello, 911, ma'am, go ahead.
Armed with a high-powered rifle, he opened fire.
There were 3 shots in your room? There were 3 shots in her room. Okay. Oh my God.
Shock and pain quickly turned to anger in Parkland, Florida.
If all our government and president can do is send thoughts and prayers, then it's time for victims to be the change that we need to see.
Other students around the country followed their lead, organizing thousands of protests and walkouts.
It's as simple as I shouldn't have to fear for my life every day in school.
Tonight, student leaders from around Oregon and Southwest Washington join us to discuss what they think needs to change to protect students from gun violence at school. This is a KGW original. Students demand action.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being with us, and welcome to a KGW original, Students Demand Action. I'm Tracy Berry.
And I'm Laurel Porter. The horror of the mass shooting last month in Parkland, Florida, quickly gave rise to a wave of student activism. Last week, tens of thousands of students across the country walked out of class and sat silent for 17 minutes, honoring the 17 students killed in Parkland.
The students are demanding action to protect students better and stop future shootings. And tonight we have a panel of student leaders from high schools across our region with a wide array of political viewpoints.
And we'll talk with them shortly. But first, we want to set up this discussion with a stark reminder of how gun violence has affected schools right here in Oregon. In the past 2 decades, we have had at least 6 shootings on school campuses.
Now, let's just do a quick show of hands and then we'll break it down from there. How many of you would support that idea? The president is behind. He certainly supports it, arming some members of the faculty. Teachers, anybody? Okay, well, why don't you jump in, Russ? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think arming every teacher is necessary, but I do think that if they've passed the concealed carry laws, they have the mental checks and the background checks, and even some additional training, I don't see why they shouldn't be able to carry on campus and protect us.
I completely disagree. I think that arming teachers is a preposterous idea. We don't need more guns in our schools. Schools are a place of learning. They're a place of creativity, environment. We don't need to be closing our schools down and locking them up. I will not learn in a prison-like environment.
Less than 2 weeks from Election Day, and the race for Oregon governor is tight. And few issues have been bigger for Newt Buehler or Governor Kate Brown than Oregon's troubled education system and dismal graduation rates. So tonight, we continue to give teachers a chance to question the candidates directly. Welcome back to KGW News at 6 o'clock. We heard from the governor yesterday. Tonight, it's Republican Newt Buehler's turn. When we read about your plan, we do hear that $1.2 billion would come from PERS reform, a lot of it. What are your concerns as a new teacher who doesn't have really the same benefits as the veteran teachers? Do you have any concerns you want to share with Newt Buehler?
I'm just curious how we can, kind of similar with funding, like how we can stabilize that system.
Yeah.
Listen, young teachers I feel particularly sorry for because they have the operational challenges, the daily challenges of the large class sizes, you know, the difficulties with our schools of being under investment, and you don't have the really gold-plated retirement plan that some of the past generations do. So you really have it tough right now.
Oregonians face an important decision as they vote this fall. Who do you want to lead the state for the next 4 years? Tonight, KGW News and the Oregonian bring you a debate between the top 2 candidates in the race for governor, Democrat Kate Brown and Republican Newt Buehler. The candidates will answer video questions submitted by dozens of Oregonians. Plus, take questions by our panel of veteran political journalists.
Quickly, here's what you can expect tonight. The candidates will take questions from our panel of political journalists, including Laurel Porter from KGW, Steve Dean from the Oregonian, and Hillary Borrud, also from the Oregonian. All right, we have another video question. We've been talking a lot about teaching, and this one comes from a teacher, as a matter of fact, a high school teacher, and Representative Buehler, you will answer first.
My name is Lindsay Ray, and I'm a high school math teacher in Beaverton. I work long hours to serve my students, and so I'm wondering, if you're elected governor, how will your policies affect the salary and benefits of educators like me?
Go ahead. Yeah. The most important question facing all of us right now is our underperforming K through 12 education system.
We all know the best place to talk is the car, and that is the inspiration for a brand new segment here on Sunrise called KGW Carpool. The premise is really pretty simple. Pile into a news car with a special guest and just let the conversation flow. Riding shotgun with me on this inaugural trip is drag queen extraordinaire Kevin Cook. You know him as Poison Waters, a popular MC at Darcel 15. But I really wanted to go deeper than that and find out what makes Kevin tick and connects him to this community. Before all the wigs and the sequins and the feathers and the heels, Kevin was a kid from Park Rose, black, gay, and disadvantaged. Buckle up, you guys. This ride is about to get real.
Going my way?
Yeah, I think I might be. Why is it that you don't drive?
So what is the statute of limitations like for, like, if you might have done something as a teenager you shouldn't have done?
I think you've passed it.
Okay, because I'm 50. Okay. So I'm like here, and I turn like this to get a Dorito in my mouth for my friend. And when I turn my head, I turn my hands. You know, you're not supposed to do that when you drive. They're separate. But when we stopped, we were upside down, facing the other direction in the onion field next to the high school. We were 100% okay.
Wow. So is all this the manifestation of all the pain and the love and the community and the people who reached out so you could find your true self?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This also is a result of all those relationships. And you know, like I said, yesterday I turned 50. So many of my friends didn't make it out of their 30s. And it's just like, it's just hard for me to think about that. And I have to feel like, I don't have what people call survivor's guilt. I can't wrap my brain around that concept, but I just have to, there's a reason I'm still here. So I have to keep doing good and keep doing better and keep being open to forgiving people and open to understanding people.
Watch closely. You're about to witness what appears to be a crime, the theft of a camera.
Hey, that guy's stealing our camera!
The bad guy got away, but it's okay. This wasn't real. It was a simulation to help demonstrate how hard it is to be a good witness.
As a police officer responding to a scene like this, you may have some very accurate descriptions and some not so accurate descriptions.
To understand, we've got to back up a bit and explain our test. We told our co-workers to gather in the front lobby for what they thought was a promo shoot.
3, 2, 1. Get out and vote!
Meanwhile, a guy pretending to be our bad guy approached the building. Our co-workers had no idea what would happen next.
Hey, that guy's stealing our camera! So, this was all a simulation. This is not a prank. We're not looking to embarrass anybody. It's a test. And what we're doing is we're testing the ability to remember. Did you see the guy's hair? Did you see his clothing? Did he have a weapon?
Do you remember anything about
A detective from the Washington County Sheriff's Office then interviewed the witnesses one by one.
I want you to tell me what you saw.
We were filming a promotion, or so I thought.
Kyle jumped in and said, "Somebody's stealing my camera," or "Somebody's stealing the camera."
And I looked up and saw somebody running with the camera.
The guy had the tripod in his right arm.
Running away with it in his left hand.
Was there anything that stood out about the clothes? Did you see any distinctive features, any colors, or were they wearing a hat?
Just dark. I want to say I think they were wearing a hat.
And it seemed like he had reddish or brown hair.
And I think he had like on a greenish gray sweatshirt.
You remember anything else about the clothing?
He was wearing shorts.
He was wearing shorts?
I believe so. I thought I saw him wearing shorts.
Dark pants.
It looked to me all dark, all black, and almost kind of like he was dressed like a ninja or something. I don't know.
Did they have a good description?
There were 10 witnesses. We got 10 similar stories, and we also got 10 somewhat different stories.
Detective Patrick Altair says it's not uncommon for witnesses to have a slightly different recollection.
It's a problem with stress and a situation you're not used to being in, is your mind fills in the gaps for you.
So what can we do to be a better witness? First, stay calm, stay safe.
We don't need people to try to stop these people.
Then get a good description. Focus on specifics.
Obviously, the generals are good. Clothing descriptions, approximate age, approximate height, approximate weight, facial features, race is important. But what will really help is specifics.
If you get a chance, write down notes. It'll help you remember later. And if you can, take photos or shoot video.
Hey, that guy's stealing our camera!
Oh my God!
A crime can occur at any time, and if you happen to see it, you can help police catch the bad guy by being a good witness.
KGW investigates.
Kyle Boshi, KGW Channel 8.
How to help police catch criminals.
Hey, that guy's stealing our camera!
What will really help is specifics.
Exposing violations of the law.
It just seemed wrong to me.
They have to pay cadets for all the hours they work or face big fines.
Who's trying to exploit your personal information?
And how do they know we have jobs?
Everyday impacts on your family.
Could that be the end of football?
Exclusive KGW investigations. Now with 2 reporters to call. Only on KGW.
Oh my goodness, it has been such a fun week here on the show. 1 week down, hopefully many more to go. So here's a look back at some of our highlights from this week.
There's so much to do and see in our precious Rose City.
Oh, seriously?
Whatever it is that brings you glee is on tonight with Cassidy.
Oh my goodness, look at all my wonderful random people we found on the street. Matt Zafino, hello.
With Mighty Quinn, go get him.
Yes, yes, yes.
No. Good.
Oh wait, I'm going the wrong way.
Lift your hip and catch it with the opposite glute when you drop it.
Oh,
lift.
That's just really good.
And drop.
We got 14 seconds.
14 seconds.
No.
Did you just lock up our drinks? Okay.
Strike. Yes.
Oh, that was not even
Air ball. How fast do you think we're going?
Oh, we're hauling. Probably at least 150.
Whoa, miles per hour. Oh, okay.
We wanted to do a little surprise for you for your show, so we made a special Cassidy Quinn flavor.
Oh my goodness! Cassidy Quinn white chocolate custard with strawberries and coconut. All of my dreams are coming true right now.
Tricky bee, freaky dee.
goodness, I can't believe it. We made it to the final day of the 2018 Winter Olympics. This whole thing has been a blur, a wonderful, magical, crazy, exciting blur. Honestly, at this point, I do not even remember what day of the week it is. So let's take a look back and see what we can remember. It's crazy to think that just 23 days ago, we were all just arriving in South Korea.
We made it to Seoul!
No medals had been won.
It feels heavy, but I like that.
No Korean foods had been tasted.
Just really chewy teriyaki. So if you want a challenge while you're eating,
it's great. And really, I just had no idea of what to expect. But I'm gonna go as close as I can. I can't go shirtless.
everyone's talking about Cassidy.
Cassidy did this, Cassidy did that.
It's always with Cassidy.
Cassidy with the gold medal in the half pipe.
John, congratulations! Your hair still looks great! Here we go. Woo, woo, woo.
And beautiful moments.
Oh my goodness, watching the sunrise. Wow, it's really beautiful up here.
And good selfie moments. And just good old Pacific Northwest moments.
It's Mount Hood. It's in the Ring of Fire. It's a volcano. I mean, how much cooler does it get than that? You can ski in the summertime.
Well, thank you for their support. I mean, it's the fan base in Oregon's been huge.
Thanks for your support.
Say thanks for all the support and everything they've done for me. Helped me out along the way.
Thanks for having our backs, and we can feel your positive vibes from here, so keep them coming.
It's that time of year again. The KGW School Supply Drive just kicked off.
The fun you speak of, Brenda, is the kickoff event for our annual KGW School Supply Drive. We host that every year right here at Oaks Park. We're hoping this year to send 12,000 students in our area back to school with all the supplies they need to have a successful school year.
The first day of school is right around the corner.
Sadly, almost half of all kids show up without the school supplies they need.
The KGW School Supply Drive, though, is making a difference.
All these supplies have one thing in common. They come from people like you.
Please donate. Just $25 provides one student with the basic school supplies they need for 1 year.
Together, we can help all kids be ready to learn.
Now, our goal has been to help out 12,000 children, supply them with the supplies that they need for school. We have exceeded that. I'm happy to report over 18,000 at this point.
Well, this year's KGW Great Food Drive officially underway, and the goal between now and the end of March is to collect 1.5 million pounds of food for the Oregon Food Bank. 1 in 5 goes hungry. Having kids myself, my heart goes out to the families.
I will go without so that my kids can eat.
There are people in need, maybe even your neighbors.
There are people who can help. That may be you.
The KGW Great Food Drive is putting food on the table.
It's a blessing for me, it's a blessing for my family.
Please give. A donation of just $25 will provide enough food to feed a family of 4 for 5 days.
We just wrapped up a KGW Food Drive collection event at the Murray and Allen Safeway in Beaverton. Thanks to you, we've collected nearly 850,000 pounds of food. Well done, thank you. And we're getting closer every day to our goal of 1.5 million pounds.
If you weren't able to go by Safeway, there are certainly other ways you can give.
We're in the final days of the KGW Great Food Drive, and you, our viewers, have really stepped up to help local families in need.
And we are smashing our goals. I'm happy to report KGW Great Food Drive. We already have 1.58 million pounds of food.
Drew, what's that?
It's a magic bell. Every time you ring it, a kid gets a toy.
My turn.
It's time for the holidays. We can take a wild and wild away. Bright lights, night lights, got the mind right. In the limelight, cause my rhyme tight. Rock this party.
All right, delivery day for the KGW Great Toy Drive. Thousands of toys now headed to local nonprofits. This is a great day of the year.
And you can look, I don't know, Camera Steve, if you can take a walk and show all the blue bags that are piled up outside the station. Yep, that is the result of our viewers' generosity. Bags of toys Tens of thousands of toys collected for local kids this year. So we thank all of our viewers and we thank our great sponsors from Regents, Wells Fargo, Toyota for coming through this year and helping us make this once again a terrific KGW Great Toy Drive.
Gun violence isn't okay and something needs to change.
We believe that we should live! We believe that we should live!
We want to make it known that we want change and we don't want to just sit in a school waiting.
We are the ones facing this personally. We are the ones in our schools being murdered.
Welcome to KGW News at 6. This may be the image people around here remember most clearly from today. Hundreds of students at Glencoe Elementary School forming a human peace sign as part of their call for change and an end to gun violence in schools across Oregon and all across the country. The kids took part in today's National School Walkout.
Pictures from the ground show dozens of students from Portland, Salem, Vancouver, and everywhere in between with bowed heads holding signs with messages like "Protect children, not guns," or with pictures of shooting victims. Many school leaders supervised the walkouts, most of which lasted for 17 minutes, 1 minute for each victim of the Parkland, Florida school shooting exactly 1 month ago today.
Let's begin our team coverage. Maggie Vespa is at Stevenson Elementary, where some of the younger children approached today a little bit differently. But we'll start in North Portland with Pat Doris. He's at Roosevelt High School, where many students participated in the walkout. Pat.
Well, it was most of the student body. They gathered behind the school at the football bleachers there. It was a well-organized gathering. It lasted longer than 17 minutes, but no one seemed to care. They wanted to make a statement here.
Currently, it seems Americans value gun ownership over their children's safety.
Their messages were blunt and to the point. Gun violence, even in Florida, makes them feel afraid here in Oregon.
I mean, it's as simple as I shouldn't have to fear for my life every day in school, in an environment where you're supposed to feel safe and educate yourself about the world and your place in it.
Do you feel unsafe at Roosevelt?
I feel unsafe in school in general because of this constant feed of violence and hate. And it's terrifying.
They demanded that political leaders do something.
Take action and put a stop to the horrible violence plaguing our generation.
One of their teachers, a graduate of Marjorie Stoneham Douglas High School, where 17 were killed in Florida, urged them to vote.
We can take it to the streets. We can scream and yell. We can protest and march. But you need to make lasting change. And no one is going to do it for you.
Right around 10 a.m., the time of the Florida massacre, the students called for a moment of silence. Governor Kate Brown looked on from the sidelines. She later said she's impressed by the students and vowed to tackle gun control locally if Congress won't do it nationally.
Banning assault weapons, we can increase the age limit, we can ban bump stocks, and we can certainly reduce access to high-capacity magazines.
This was not a school-sanctioned event, but it was not a rebellion either. The superintendent of schools and several teachers looked on and approved. When it was over, students said they felt the demonstration was worth it.
And I'm grateful that we had people here who wanted to be here and wanted to listen to us and be here with us.
And this is not the last of it. 10 days from now, a large anti-gun violence demonstration is planned for downtown Portland. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Pat. Here were some of the sites across the metro area, beginning in Beaverton. About 300 students filed out of Sunset High School this morning.
After a moment of silence, students led a chant saying, "We believe that we should live," over and over again. The school supervised this walkout, and students did remain on campus.
And a similar scene up in Vancouver where hundreds of kids poured out of Fort Vancouver High School at 10 a.m. They were honoring 18 lives, the 17 from Florida and another from an accidental shooting in Alabama. Some students did leave campus to go to a local park. They say they wanted to spend more time talking about possible solutions to gun violence.
We were there when South Salem High School students walked out of class by the dozens. One student leader talked about what she hopes changes after today.
I hope that our school becomes safer not only between students but between administration, and that there becomes a clear guideline that we can go talk to our staff without feeling that we are going to have our information be spread to anybody or that we don't feel safe enough to. And I hope that it changes, that we become a bigger community and work together to solve these issues.
South Salem also held a walk-in where students could write on a note card what they felt needed to be done to keep schools safe. Student leaders say they will use that information in a proposal in the future.
Even Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler could be spotted at Lincoln High School, where students also took part. However, the mayor referred to himself as just a bystander and a supporter. He stood back during the 17 minutes of silence. Afterward, he agreed to speak with the media only if he could share the spotlight with one of the kids who made today's demonstration happen.
I found it very, very powerful to see young people taking control of issues that matter to them. There's no issue that they should not be involved in, but this issue of school safety impacts them more than anybody else.
I'm absolutely overjoyed right now. I'm holding back tears. I really did not think we would be able to be silent for a whole 17 minutes. I did not hear anybody breathe. You could hear a pin drop, and it's just so, I'm overjoyed because I really wanted to make a change, and I feel like it is the beginning.
Students at Lincoln ended their walkout by dropping letters into a bin. They will be sent to kids in Parkland, Florida.
Parkland may be the shooting that reignited the gun debate, but it is far from the only one. And unfortunately, Oregon has seen its share of shootings. In May of 1998, then 15-year-old Kip Kinkle killed his parents and then drove to Thurston High School, where he killed 2 students and hurt another 23. Then February of 2006, a student was shot at Roseburg High School. June 2014 was the deadly Reynolds High School shooting. And December of that same year, 4 people were shot outside Rosemary Anderson High School. And most recently was the October 2015 mass shooting at Umpqua Community College in Roseburg. That brings us to today. And on the other side of the country, even more students marched on the Capitol in Washington, D.C. to get the attention of U.S. leaders. NBC's Blaine Alexander reports on what they've already accomplished.
Well, Tracy, lawmakers in both parties will acknowledge that today's bill was just a first step in a bigger picture towards school safety. But many of the students who walked out today want to make sure that the next step includes gun control.
They came to the seat of power. From the White House to Capitol Hill, thousands of students raising their voices, demanding action against gun violence.
Do your jobs, give us concrete solutions.
Lawmakers are paying attention.
America is listening to your voices.
But will they act? Today, the House overwhelmingly passing the Stop School Violence Act. $50 million a year to beef up school security, better training to identify warning signs, and improve coordination between schools and law enforcement.
More tools to actively identify a potential shooter before a tragedy happens.
But nothing on guns. President Trump has promised his support for the measure. Congressman Ted Deutsch, who represents Parkland, helped write the bill before the shooting.
I know that this does not go far enough in terms of what we need to do, but it is an important step.
But students say even that step is too small.
The adults have failed us. This is in our hands now, and if any elected official gets in our way, we will vote them out and replace them ourselves.
The NRA tweeting its stance. I'll control my own guns. But students promising to continue their pressure for lawmakers to act on tougher gun laws.
And another bill that you may have heard a lot about is the Fix Nix bill that deals with background checks when buying a gun. That bill is still in the Senate and has not yet come up for a vote. In Washington, Blaine Alexander, KGW News. Back to you in Portland.
You've seen and heard some of the older students taking part in today's walkout, but younger kids joined in as well. KGW's Maggie Vespa is live at Stevenson Elementary School in Southwest Portland. And Maggie, they found their own way to take part.
Joe, they did, and teachers admit, it was kind of hard finding that line because at the end of the day, the underlying issue here is gun control, and a walkout is a protest. That's kind of an adult action to take. But, school safety also affects kids this age and possibly sometimes younger. So these kids wanted to participate, and they did it in their own way.
Be respectful.
At Stevenson Elementary,
Do your best.
messages of kindness and caring echo through the halls.
What did yours say, Kai?
For little kids, the focus aimed young.
There it is. It says, be nice.
Granted, focus is often broken by news cameras.
To answer the question, how do we care for each other here at Stevenson?
For fifth graders,
Kindness. I like kindness.
bigger issues came into play.
Well, we did equality and include.
Okay.
And we had like an African American person and a white person like playing together.
And obviously I'm seeing a lot of human rights stuff.
Teachers know it's a day sparking strong opinions.
Should they be in school? Should they not be in school? But I think in this situation it's nice to be able to put school and this political stance, more or less, or a human stance, to be able to put them together.
Put them together.
Quietly make your way to the door so we can get outside. It's 10:20.
By following the older kids and walking out.
Hit those.
All right, everybody. I know this is a very exciting day.
Students at Stevenson wore brightly colored shirts. On their playground, a rainbow formed.
The rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers.
A song and a symbol for a child's interpretation of today.
Their excitement today in doing this, singing the song together, showing unity, cohesiveness, is always a critical message that I think we should do at all times with children.
And with that, it was back to class.
Absolutely.
With staff hope, a lasting lesson in tow.
Such a sweet day here. Now, we do want to point out we aired this story at 4, and pretty immediately, because these kids are so young, got a phone call from a viewer who was asking if parents got notice ahead of time that A, this was going to happen, and B, did they have the chance if they wanted to opt their child out. We had the understanding that was the case going in, but we double checked for that viewer. The answer to both questions is yes. Back to you.
Maggie, thank you very much. You can see more pictures and videos from today's walkouts at KGW.com and also on the KGW mobile app, including some of the students' own cell phone videos.
Still to come, United Airlines is dealing with 2 big mistakes in less than a week. First, the accidental death of a dog forced into an overhead compartment. And now, a different dog accidentally shipped to Japan. How the mistakes happened and what United has promised to do to prevent any more.
And a little excitement in Manzanita tonight. A film crew is in the middle of shooting a pilot there. Some neighbors, though, really pretty anxious for them to wrap it all up.
I bet there's a lot of excitement up and down the Oregon coast with the sunshine and the weather we're having. This is Newport, a beautiful day there out over the bay, 48 degrees there. And in the valleys, we've got some clouds, but it's looking pretty good. I'll let you know what the shower chances are and the latest on that geomagnetic storm that might produce the northern lights.
The 2018 Rose Festival Princess for Franklin High School is Amaya Gustav.
You heard it there. Franklin High School picked junior Amaya Gustav as its Rose Festival Princess. We're more than halfway there. Still several schools to announce, though. Tomorrow, Wilson High will make its choice. And the Queen will be announced the morning of June 9th.
There's some excitement in Manzanita tonight. A new TV pilot is being shot there, and it's getting a lot of attention.
Lots of folks think it could be pretty good for business. On the other hand, some can't wait for the crew to kind of wrap things up. Brian Brennan is live there, and Brian, lots of activity for a small town.
That's very true. There's a lot of production going on behind me as well. They are controlling traffic so no one interrupts the shoot in progress. People have been showing up here all day to see what's going on. The filming of a TV pilot brought 125 new visitors to Manzanita the last 2 days.
Very friendly, and it's kind of fun.
People stopped by to get a look, and others even got to play a part.
They had a extra in here. It was actually my daughter from next door, and she got to play a shopkeeper and saw the car chase down the street, and she got to react to it, and they filmed it.
But not everyone is overly excited about all the excitement.
If this is it for shots that they can use, down the road, I think that's great. But if it's here on a regular basis, no.
Some people are concerned their quiet town might start looking a little too much like Hollywood. The city says it did its best to find a compromise.
We went through a bunch of parameters with them, which we thought would work and which didn't work. For example, one thing, we didn't want them shooting any guns or going up and down the street with the sirens on the police car.
The TV crew shot for 2 days. The pilot is for a show called Stadies. A detective is sent to an eccentric coastal town to work with a state trooper who talks to trees and flies kites.
A detective that's sent to the boondocks. And so here we are being the boondocks.
If the pilot is picked up, the crew might return to Manzanita, if the city allows it.
I think if we did it again, I don't think we'd allow them to tie up Lanita for the whole day, because we're a really small town and everything's on Lanita. Right. The grocery store, the post office, and it impacted some businesses.
Most of the people we talked to say they are happy with their new guests.
It's been fun to watch, and I think it's a great way to bring businesses to Oregon.
As long as they don't wear out their welcome.
I'm in favor. Of course, they're not in front of my house.
There was a lot of talk today not wanting some areas of this town to be overrun with tourists like what can sometimes happen at the Goonies house in Astoria. Back to you.
Well, yeah, everyone sees this on TV and they think, where's this great little town? And then they want to go.
The Goonies house, they finally had to keep people totally away from there because people are still going. We're still going to.
Kind of like your house. People are always trying to see what's going on at Laurel's house. Exactly.
Put that big plaque up. I think that gave it away.
That was kind of it. The big KGW thing in the front lawn.
Come on over.
I don't think they're going to actually name the town in that series.
They're not.
They're
it's going to be named something else.
Yeah,
Pine something.
Somerville
exactly.
They had a
Ocean
nice
Breeze.
day to shoot there, too.
That's great. Yeah, and they'll have more good shooting weather tomorrow if they're still shooting.
If they're allowed.
If Manzanita is not too busy for them, then we've got more good weather on the way. Here's Cannon Beach right now, just up the road from Manzanita. Of course, love our Oregon towns. They're so awesome. And especially when the weather's like this, Cannon Beach just looks absolutely stunning. Here's a time lapse for you from our reserve golf course Skycam, and you can see the clouds building up, but then never really making it all that tall. We had some scattered showers out there. I'll show you on radar. It looked like to the north here, we might get a little bit of development, but I never really did see anything from this view that popped into the shower category. We will, though, and we are, actually. If you look at Doppler radar, there's been a few sprinkles over here. I think a lot of this is just that cloud cover that's been developing and not really moving. It's sort of been stuck over there for quite a bit. All right, there's been a lot of talk about this. There was a geomagnetic storm on the sun yesterday. It was not a very strong one, as geomagnetic storms go, but it was really broad. This entire dark area here, it's like a giant sunspot. It's called a coronal hole, and when that happens, it disturbs the sun's magnetic field, which in turn allows the solar wind to emanate from the sun much stronger than normal. And when that reaches Earth, if it's Earth directed, and it is, then that can in turn excite or perturb the Earth's magnetic field. And when that happens, you get the northern lights sometimes. So it could cause the northern lights tonight. There is certainly no certainty around that. And if they do happen, and they've been visible from Europe, but like far northern Europe tonight, it's dark over there already. Whether or not it can send to our latitude remains to be seen, and the odds are not that great. It could cause some disruptions to GPS and some satellite communications, but that hardly ever happens. There are safeguards in place for that. So again, there's a slightly elevated chance that we could see the northern lights about down to our latitude, better chances as you go north. And I think we'll have the clear sky. You won't see it from your backyard. Too much city lights. You got to go get away from the city lights. Showers here will develop again tomorrow and roll back on into the northwest. So with that in mind, let's look at futurecast. It should be generally clear tonight, so that's good. We got that going for us. And then tomorrow, watch what happens. This is 1 o'clock. We're still dry. Then later in the afternoon, some showers develop along the Cascade foothills and then rotate over the valley and towards the coast range. So we could yet see a stronger shower, some small hail, possibly even a thunderstorm. Our high today was 55 outside right now. It's beautiful out there. On the coast, highs will be in the 50s, about 51 at Astoria with showers and possibly a thunderstorm at the beaches. Partly sunny, scattered showers today. You know what? It's very much like the weather we had today. That's what we get tomorrow and on Friday. And over the weekend, it'll get a little bit rainier. Snow showers in the Cascades, snow level 1,500 feet. So there's been about 3 inches new today. May get another couple inches tonight. Skiing will be good. We're not going to be seeing that waist-deep powder from a couple weeks ago, but still pretty good. In the gorge, east winds are back, but they're light, partly sunny, and down to 31 in Hood River, so that'll get the attention of growers out there. A few showers tonight, and then sun and showers tomorrow, really a lot like today. Saturday, St. Patrick's Day, did you know that? We'll have sun and showers again, cooler with a high of only 53. Sunday, sun and showers. That, of course, is Shamrock Run Day, so if you're running the Shamrock Run, get ready for some cool weather, temperatures in the 30s at the start of the run. And then it warms up on Monday and Tuesday is the first day of spring. And we should get back up to about 60 or 61. So all in all, not bad. Ladies, Joe.
Thank you, Matt.
Next at 6, fighting hunger in Oregon. A local business that encourages people to eat locally is now stretching its mission to help those in need.
At last check, the KGW Great Food Drive has collected more than 760,000 pounds of food. Thank you. We are getting closer to our goal of $1.5 million. We do have another collection event coming up. It's tomorrow from 4 to 6 at the Murray and Allen Safeway in Beaverton. We'll be there accepting cash or food donations. And if you are able to give, you'll get a free root beer float.
Yum. Well, here are the rest of the ways you can give: by buying Tillamook dairy products. They'll donate a portion of the proceeds through the month of March. You can also donate food at Toyota dealerships, food or cash at Rivermark Community Credit Unions, or you can donate cash at kgw.com/food drive.
Well, this will get you interested in studying science. 2 Portland teenagers won a combined $140,000 at the Regeneron Science Talent Search. Shahir Rahman took 4th place, won $100,000. He created an internet-enabled microwave. It can heat different foods on the same plate to different temperatures. And Rayleigh Schweinfurth of Oregon Episcopal School got 10th place and $40,000. She did a study on contamination levels following an incident in 2013 that resulted in the death of 50,000 bees.
Yeah, what'd you do today, right?
Well, fine dining right in the middle of a farm field. It's how one Portland woman is raising money to fight hunger in Oregon.
She calls it Plate and Pitchfork, and it's become quite the hot ticket in the 15 years it's been around.
KGW's environmental reporter Keely Chalmers is live at Smithberry Farm Forest in Hillsboro. And Keely, that farm will be hosting a couple of the dinners this summer.
Yeah, that's right, guys. And those who take part in those dinners will not only get to enjoy some great food and great wine, they'll also get to help out a great cause.
Yeah, so this is where the dinner's hosted.
On a grassy patch in the pear orchard at Smithberry Farm. This is where during one weekend this July, rows of tables will be set up.
Usually it's pretty fancy.
It may not look fancy now. Our Fly 8 drone gives us a bird's eye view of the farm not yet in bloom. But imagine all this in July, full of fruits and vegetables and people eating them.
But I've seen limos come, I've seen people in tuxedos.
This summer, the farm will host at least 2 Plate and Pitchfork dinners.
Plate and Pitchfork is a series of dinners held on farms around Oregon.
Erica Palmer founded the Plate and Pitchfork program back in 2003. She wanted to connect people directly to the food they eat and to the people who grow and make that food.
It was 2003. Not everybody was talking about know your farmer, know your food. We didn't have hashtags then. We didn't even have iPhones then.
So she came up with the idea to host dinners at farms across Oregon. Those who attend get to enjoy a 4 to 5 course gourmet meal made from the food grown right there at the farm. But Erica didn't want to stop there. She also wanted to give back.
We think of Oregon as being so abundant in food, but there are 600,000 Oregonians every month who don't know where their next meal is coming from. And 300,000 of those are kids.
A portion of all plate and pitchfork ticket sales goes to helping provide families in need with healthy food to eat. This past year, Erica raised $15,000 for those families, and she plans to continue raising money while also raising awareness about just how tasty food right from the farm can be.
It's like having a very fancy downtown meal, but here on the farm, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and a heads up, next Wednesday, the Plate and Pitchfork Dinner Series will be announced. Now, tickets for a seat at one of those dinners will run you between about $120 and $150. I'm told they always sell out, and they do go fast. If you'd like more information about the dinners, the program, and how you can help out, we've got a link to it all on our website, kgw.com.
Wow, that looks tremendous.
No wonder they sell out.
No kidding.
Great idea for a
Gorgeous.
good cause.